Erin from Morehouse Farm here with today's knitting tip, which is how to do the decreases at the tip of the fingers on the Grown Together mittens. The good news, you've already done this one, so you know how to do it. It's the same as the decreases started for the thumb. We were going to either SSK or knit two together. Both of these techniques involve knitting two stitches together to become one. However, they just position the stitches differently so that you end up with them leaning towards the tip of the mitten. So here's my second pair of Grown Together mittens, and I have knit 3 stitches to the end, as the pattern calls for. I'm going to SSK, which means instead of just knitting them, I'm going to slip them both as if to knit, okay? And then I'm going to knit them together. So what that means is either I can stick my left needle in front and then knit them as I normally would, or I can slip them back to the left needle and then knit them, whichever is more comfortable for you. What this does is it leans the stitch that was on the right on top towards the left so that the stitches all go in this direction on this side, okay? So then I need to knit 2, which is knitting the last one at the end here, making sure I'm in the stitch, not the stitch below, okay? And then I'm going to go to the other side because I'm working my way around, which means I need to reposition my needles, not a big deal, okay? And then I'm gonna pull this back onto the shaft so that I'm ready to work it. And remember, I have done my SSK and now I've knit 1. Now I need to knit my second one, which is here, okay, done. Now I need to knit 2 together, which means coming to this left side, knitting these 2 together, and notice what that does is it puts the stitch on the left side on top and now leaning towards the point, so that I have decreases that mirror each other and both lean towards the end of the mitten. Then I'm just going to continue knitting around as instructed. And because I'm starting this on the round that's only one color, that makes it a whole lot easier. Is that going to muck with color work? Well, it might a little bit, but remember that is the round that there's going to be solid color anyway, as you can see in these mittens. Then there's going to be another one where I believe you hold off on the decreases. You're doing it every other round for a bit. And notice that the decreases do get fairly steep because you are switching from every other round to every round. So follow the pattern. That'll give you a mitten that fits your hand. And don't worry about my fingers are being so much narrower than the mitten, because remember, when I put my hand inside, I want to be able to spread my fingers out a little bit, okay? But if you feel that this is too big, you can always stop knitting and start doing the bind off sooner, okay? That part's going to be up to you, but just make sure you're not only measuring with your fingers tight together, because that will be a tight mitten. All right, then last question. What happens when I start to get up to here and there's not enough room for my color work because I should have started with some more on what would have been this chevron out here? Well, think about the chart. So what happens when we get to the chart where all of a sudden my stitches are gone and I can't follow it all the way through? It's going to muck with my color work, right? Well, not necessarily, because those stitches have just disappeared, so there's nothing to continue knitting, right? The pattern will continue, but the shaping will get rid of it. So let's go to the chart. We've got a little section here for you so that we respect the designer's copyright even on a free pattern, but at the same time show you what we're after here. So when I come around knitting in this solid color round, these last 2 stitches, or wherever my chart ended, say I ended here, right? If this was the end of my chart, depending on how many stitches I ended up with, my last 2 are going to get knit into 1. So that's what I'm just drawing myself a little arrow here for. So the next time I come around, my chart is really going to end here because that's my last stitch. And in the next round, right, which I'll be knitting in the darker color, I'm going to knit as is. But when I come back around into this round here, I'm supposed to knit 2 stitches together, which means this guy and that guy, or this gal and this gal, however you want to say it for these stitches, are going to end up in this one, which means all of a sudden when I come back on this round, that's going to be my last stitch because I've knit these together into one and that's gonna be where I end. What doing this does for you, right? Having this little sticky note helps you say, oh yeah, I'm supposed to end there on that last repeat at the fingertips, right? You're gonna continue the chart the whole way through. It's just this last one that is going to be impacted. And since the stitches aren't there anymore, you just don't knit them. Stop the chart here as an example, and then start it in the same place on the other side. So you end up with a mirror image here, and that's how you're gonna continue on the color work. All right, if you have specific questions, please post them below so that we can get you the answer you need. Remember to get out the detail brush. Tell us as much information as you can about where you are and what you are trying to accomplish and what's got you stuck, because there's no need for you to be stuck. We will get you through this. It's a two-way street, and we're here to help you because we want you to have success with this knitting project. So show us your mittens and be sure to ask all any questions you have along the way so we can get them answered for you. Happy knitting, everybody!